Roseanne Barr said that Dave Chappelle was visited and corrected before his trip to Africa. You guys have got to check this out.
Legendary comic on your podcast, and it kind of shocked the world what you were talking about when you were diving deep into the industry and talking about forces that could come and knock on your door and get someone like Dave Chappelle to move continents, right?
We were filming a movie, and he also had a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
From HBO and or not HBO, Comedy Central, and all this shit, right?
The worst bunch of people on earth.
Horrid.
Mm-hmm.
He then, while he was on the show, when it was blowing up, and we remember the Aspen Comedy Festival? I don't know.
Yeah, that was fun. I did that too.
He came there, and he was freaked out.
Yeah.
I said, "What's going on?" And all I could say is he was visited.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
What?
And when he told me who visited him, my heart stops for a second. I'm like, get the. And I'll never forget. He went, "You believe me, right? You believe me, Jim, right?" And I could. He's like, they came to me, and he said the names. I'm like, get the. And what happened? And then all of a sudden, he went to Africa.
Yeah, that's what I remember happening.
What's that about? Like, so he's talking about Dave Chappelle there, and he's, Dave Chappelle, one of the most famous comedians on earth.
Yeah.
Gets visited by who? Roseanne, you've been in Hollywood for quite a long time, and you know the system as well as anybody. Well, that clip went thermonuclear, but I've never seen a follow-up to it. Can you kind of unpack that for me?
Well, you got to be real careful. And I try to be careful, and I try to speak in code because, like I say, I have a large family. And, I can't remember his name that's sitting in prison right now, Trump's one of Trump's advisors.
Peter Navarro.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, there is a black power structure that, we're supposed to be ignorant about and never speak of. But they're part of the whole power structure, too. It's not just all white people. There's a black component in it. And they have a lot of power, and their power comes from policing their own. And that's their job, is to police their own in Hollywood and in the media. And it's the same with Jewish people. I'm Jewish. And we have a Jewish power structure that polices Jewish people in Hollywood, too. So we have to answer. You'd think that they just let the audience decide if we were funny or good, but no, they don't, because we might say something. And you know that saying, one spark can set the whole woods on fire?
Yes.
Well, we might say something that sets the whole woods on fire in people's heads, and they have to guard against that because they don't want people to witness or be aware or know, because their whole thing's based on secrecy. And they've kept it that way for thousands of years.
The thing about this is, I think they will let anyone speak. Anyone can say whatever the heck they want, as long as they're obscure. The moment that you gain prominence and you gain recognition around the world, that we have to rein this person in, they have to go by our set of rules. And if they don't go by our set of rules, we'll see what happens to you. We'll see how you do. And as clear as day, Roseanne Barr right here, she's terrified. You can look at her face. Look at her face right there. She's not scared for her sake. I feel like she's scared for her family's sake. And that's where they get you. I feel like most people down in their hearts want to tell the truth, do the right thing, and they're willing to die on that principle. But are they willing to die on that principle for the life of your daughter, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father? That's when it gets dicey, and that's how they control these people. So a lot of these Hollywood people, actors, comedians, famous musicians, you think they're acting on their own behalf and they're just saying whatever they think. But no, I feel like everyone is being controlled by higher powers that we cannot see. They're behind the scenes. They're in the shadows, controlling the media that we see each and every day.
Or how they keep power. And now we're in a whole other age where we have the internet and instant information at our fingertips. So that changed things and made them have to crack down even more. So let's just imagine, who would be in Hollywood at the top of that power structure to tell Dave Chappelle that he has to reel it in? Who do you think?
The
no idea.
studio. I mean, maybe I'm naive, but the studio heads, the people who sign, someone who's signing the checks.
No, it's
leverage.
tastemakers. That's who.
Who?
They always call them influencers now, but we used to call them tastemakers because they have a lot of cultural power, especially in minority groups, because they want every minority group to be a monolith of one opinion, and that ain't freedom. They want to break down freedom in the Black community and all minority groups, especially also the Jewish community. They only want one opinion, and that's their job, is to sit on the rest of us who don't knuckle under to it, because we're not going to do that. We know something different than them, and we're not going to we're not going to side with evil. That's why we're comics. We're supposed to put the severed pieces together, as Virginia Woolf said. That's what writers and intellectuals and comedians do. You put the severed parts together so that people can go, oh, I never thought of it like that. I was thinking like that, and I'm glad you gave me the words or pointed the way. That's our job. That's what we do it for, because we want people to go, aha, and then laugh, to acknowledge that they got it. So, you have to look at the cultural leaders of minority groups, because they're the ones, I won't name them, but those are the ones that bring you the bad news that you are misrepresenting your people, and your people will turn on you, and your people don't like it. Your people don't want to hear it. They want to hear, basically the Democrat Party line. They don't want nothing.
What's also so terrifying about this is, do you remember what happened to Kanye West a couple years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. And I know a lot of people don't like Kanye West, but just hear me out on this. Kanye West was talking out about a lot of different stuff, and it was very controversial. And then somebody sent him a text message, his so-called handler, as he likes to put it, and basically said, listen, you shut your mouth right now, or the next time you speak to your kids, you're going to be so hopped up on drugs, you're going to have no idea what is going on around you, and you're going to stay like that. How terrifying of a message is that? That is evil. That is strictly evil. Everybody should be able to say whatever the heck they want. And just because they don't toe some line, you medicate them to the extreme and they have no idea what's going on anymore. And the sad part about it is, this will happen and the media won't even cover it. They'll just say, oh, he went crazy. He went crazy. They don't even look into it and see what's actually going on. It's very similar to what Roseanne is talking about here. It's basically, if you don't do what we say, you're not going to have much of a career after this. And your family might not be so safe.
Look at what happens to Black people who don't hold the Democrat Party line. I mean, it's just shocking how many liberal people in Hollywood that I would go around, and I didn't, because I had to, but how many of those leftist Democrats, and I was telling somebody this the other day, a Black friend of mine, a comic, and I said, I've been in the room, and almost virtually every one of them used the N-word with the hard R. Every one of them, about Justice Roberts and people that are not towing the Democrat Party line. I've heard it. And it's just ugly and horrible. That's where we're living. We're living in ugly, horrible, upside down, backward world. Backward day every day, and it's hard to see your way through it. And if you do see your way through it, if you're a brilliant comic like Dave Chappelle, he got messaged, and then all of a sudden he started talking about how bad the Jews are. I put it together because there is a party line that you have to acquiesce to, and Democrats don't like Israel and they don't like Jews unless they're leftists. But that's part of the whole take down and take over of the American soul and mind. And I just pray every day that God will touch people and ignite those sparks in them that he put there.
You can't rely on these Hollywood elites, these famous athletes. You can't rely on these people to teach you what actually matters. You can't trust these people to speak for your best interests. These famous people, all that they are doing is parroting something else that they were told from somebody higher up, an executive, somebody in the shadows that you don't really know about. These people will never spread the word of God. They will never spread positive messaging. It seems everything I see from Hollywood nowadays is to tear apart the family unit. Pretty much everything is contrary to what it says in the Bible. Honestly, I don't trust many of these Hollywood elitists. There's maybe a handful of them where I do trust. Roseanne seems sharp. She seems like she knows what she's talking about. She's speaking out. She's putting her life at risk. She's putting her family's life at risk. So you have to be willing to take her seriously. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this topic down below. Do you believe that these people are independent, sovereign people? Or do you think they're controlled by higher elites? Let me know down below. And also, what Hollywood celebrities do you admire who speak out and tell the truth despite the fact that they're putting themselves at risk? What other people are there? And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash a like, comment, subscribe, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.